Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday night. Let's do a wee bit of time travelling again on the bus. Because, yeah, there is still no games to talk about at the moment. So, no Friday feeling, nothing to look forward to at the weekends. But, yes, we'll get Bustalgia on the road again. And we'll go down many rabbit holes tonight. Because usually I come with lots of notes and a wee bit of a script as well of how I'm going to do it, running order and whatnot. There is none of that tonight. We're just going to go all over the place. We're just going to venture from one point in time to another. Because, yes, it's all about iconic away kits tonight for Celtic. And the whole premise of the show will be we'll just bring up a kit on the screen and it'll just be a case of talk about our first memories of it, first player that comes to mind, good memories, bad memories, because some kits are associated with bad ones. And yeah, we'll have a wee bit of a chat about it. And obviously, we want you guys in the chat to get involved and tell us some of your memories about them, because there are some absolute humdingers that will be involved tonight as we go along. I'll make sure to try and hit all the big ones as we go. But yeah, it should be a fun episode of Bustalgia and a bit about it. And as you can see, joining me, it's Friday night. So, of course, it is the usual Friday night team. And they've come prepared as well. They're dressed for the occasion. Liam, the Punk Duck Warlord Greenlaw, Canada's favourite Tim, and he's got his favourite away shirt on tonight, is the 2012-13 away shirt, black away shirt with the tricolour and the inside of the sleeves. Tenant sponsor. Oh, it's a classic black, sleek. What a shirt. There you go.
Waiting up for the end, right? That's when you walk in the pub and it's like,
Oh, he means business, this guy. Here he comes. But no, you're looking good there, Liam, with that one on. It's an absolute cracker, mate. One of my favourites, definitely. I always love a black kit. Always looks so sleek.
You know what, mate? See, when you're a man my age, sometimes you don't want to be, hey, look at me all the time. You want something that looks good. You blend in. Put a pair of denims if you're me, you know. And then, yeah, and there you go, right? And it's still a football kit and it looks great. And so as a fan, I love this kit. Also, I love seeing a team in a black kit. They always look menacing. You know, that's the way. All the good cowboys in the movies wear black hats, right? For a reason. So I love that we get a black kit now and again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he always looks really, really sleek. And a total contrast to that, Michael, the kit you're wearing. I was wearing the home equivalent of that the other night, and I know it's quite a polarizing one because of the sponsor on the front. But as I call it, the financial crash away kit with the stock market lines on it, and then it just kind of plummets and just doesn't come back up after that. I do think Umbro maybe taking the piss out is there, but I think over time the one you're wearing has gained a popularity, because I remember when I first saw it and it was like, oh no. But no, I think over time it's became more and more sought after. But it's a classic to say the least, no doubt about it. But from a very dark time, Michael, that one.
A dark time, like so in terms of the team, definitely. But I loved the kit for day one. I had the full kit when I was younger.
Oh,
got nice. My birthday when I think I was 8-year-old or something. And I always remember my mate's birthday was literally 3 weeks before mine. He used to always get the kits literally 3 weeks before me. And at that age, that means a lot, obviously. We used to wear it every day, the full kit, to annoy me. Because you had to wait 3 weeks.
Yeah, just to rub it in your face.
I've loved the kit for day one. I've got no... I know why folk hate it, don't get me wrong. It's not a traditional kit, obviously. But I think it's that different and that mad that I just always loved it for that age onwards. And I said I had the full kit, so... I had to buy it again when I saw it and the remakes and stuff like that. That's a remake, obviously, you can probably tell, but no, I loved it for day one. Yeah. I'm probably one of the only ones, to be fair. I know it's grown over time, but I've always loved it. I'm unapologetic about it, really, you know what I mean?
It'll definitely feature at some point tonight in the multiple shots I'll be bringing up on screen. We can dive more into your memories, and with Liam being into his fashion and art design, I'm sure he'll have some opinions on the design on that shirt. But of course, folks, before we go any further, I'll just remind everybody to do all that good stuff. Helps us out massively. Hit that like button. Obviously, you can hit the subscribe button if you've not done so yet. Keep us in your life a little bit longer. Get involved in our comments, as I'm advising you to do, because some people are already telling me some of their favourite kits. Martin, we're saying the Bumblebee, of course, that's definitely going to feature at some point tonight. And of course, you can share the link of the Boise Bus far and wide and spread the good word of the Boise Bus during this pre-season here. Now, Scotland are out the Euros as well. Great effort there, Scotland. Yes, obviously, you can get the Boise Bus to more Celtic fans and hopefully more eyes on the channel. And of course, head over to piesports.com and use that code BUS1888 and get 12.5% off your order. And with that said and done, I guess we can take a wee trip. We can start delving into this, guys, because obviously I said at the top of the show, there is no script, there is no running order. So where on earth do we start? And as I can see, guys, for the viewers watching, obviously Liam's came dressed for the occasion. He's got the 2012 away shirt on, and Michael's dressed. But you're looking at me and I have to get a grey hoodie on. But guess what? Do you think I really didn't come prepared for this? That's the best place to start is with this one. So, guys, when you see this shot, what is the first one that comes to mind? Like, what's the first player that you see? I've already seen Patrick McLaughlin in the comments, and I agree with him about this one. But what is the first thing that comes to mind, Michael, when you see this shot?
For bad reasons, Larson and Leon, obviously. That still gives me the shivers. Honestly, I still kind of watch the footage to this day. That game.
Brutal.
It's a beautiful kit, though. I had the strip at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I got it for my 16th birthday, I'm sure. But a beautiful strip, but I could never wear it again after Leon. I just couldn't wear it, honestly. It's traumatized.
As a kid, Patrick always said earlier on about the 98 to 2000 one. I think he called it the unlucky kit. There it is there. Yeah, 98 away kit, my favourite, the so-called unlucky top, because I have nothing but sadly bad memories in this shot as well. As you say, the standout one is obviously Larson. Mine's is a bit more of an out there reference, but every time I see this kit, and I agree, it's a great looking shot, and it's black as well, which obviously helps because it makes it look sleek. I see Reggie Blinker scoring an own goal at Pataudry. Jonathan Gould comes for a cross, and Reggie Blinker tries to cushion a header back to him, and it just floats right past him into the net. And I think we got beat as well that night. And it's this kit is like, it's not got a good lineage, sadly, at all, but it's a great one as well. It's so good. It's so nice with the black and the neon green. But yeah, we had it for 2 years, 98 through to 2000. And yeah, Liam, any shot that's associated with a leg break of Henrik Larsson, it's not the legacy you want for this shot, is it?
Oh, I mean, that's one way to take it. Right, so for me, that shot, I see Stilian Petrov.
Okay, yeah.
That was the sort of season I think we could sort of see that we had a player here. Right, I think that was when he started to turn his corner, and we could say, all right, this boy's got something special. He was going box to box, and he hadn't disappeared at that point yet. He was still playing well for Celtic, and that's what I figured. Okay, we got a really good player, and he was starting to get games with the national team. They knew it right away because he came here with a good pedigree, and he looked good in it as well. I think he might have been in the. I wonder if anybody knows who advertised the shirts that year on the poster. I think it might have been Petrov, and I can't mind who else it would have been. But for some reason, I remember seeing a Pro Shots or something in him in that kit. But a belter as well. Yeah.
To see this one came in Venglos' season, and we kept it for Barnes' season. But yeah, the second the sponsor change, because when I bought this the other week, everywhere I look on all these different vintage football shirts, you can always find the one with Umbro on the front of it, but it's very hard to find one with NTL on the front of it. Because to me, and just in my opinion, I think it looks better with NTL because Umbro make it, Umbro sponsor it. So to me, it's kind of like, I always feel like there should be a difference. But yeah, the NTL one, I can't find it anywhere. I suppose it'll be eBay will probably be the best place to look. But all these like classic football shirts and all that, they've always got this one, but it's got Umbro on it. But yeah, we did keep it into the Barnes season, which Petrov would have had to wear as well, because that would have been another away kit for that one. A name, though, that did come up, and a good memory I've got of this, an actual good one. Marc Viduka's first goal for the club down at Capello, outside of the foot shot. We were wearing this away kit, and that was the first time him and Larson had a chance to play together after his sabbatical that he took. Remember that, Liam, when he just decided, oh no, this is for me. And when he came back, he was Marc Viduka, but when he joined, initially he was Marco Viduka. And he came back, so he lost the letter O as well. But I remember his first goal. I think Monty said it in the chat, Viduka's name as well. Viduka was what he said when I unveiled that shot and all. His first goal in at Capel, cuts inside, and it's what they call the Trivella shot, the outside of the foot, and bends it right in the top corner. And you're like, I think we've got a player on our hands here with that goal. It was an absolute screamer. That's one of the few good memories. But yes, most people have said in the chat already, it is not one that is associated with many good things at all. There's a lot of bad, two bad seasons, Joseph Venglos and John Barnes' season. But yeah, a cracking away kit, and it does fall under the black one. So I think the best way to structure this is we'll keep it colour-coded. We'll do a lot of the black shots first. And Liam, seeing as you're wearing one of the really popular ones, do you want to know what I think of when I look at that shot? It's not necessarily a player. is Neil Lennon with skinhead hairdo and the tracksuit that went with it, with the collar upturned, with the tricolour on the inside of that. And he just looked, as me and Russell were talking about when I did that Under the Bonnet, he looked bloody psychotic at that point. But in terms of, like, if you do want a player that comes to mind when I think of that black away kit, it's got to be Samaras scoring the winner against Moscow. The wee flick-on header that dropped in at the back post.
Aye.
That kit, man, it looked, we wore it a few times in Europe that season. It looked the part, it really did. But yeah, what's your lasting memory, Liam, of the shirt you're wearing?
I just like these as a shirt. I like the fact that the stripes are still on it, right? The hoops are on it, but it's black on black. See, when you're wearing a black kilt, a black kit, like they did that in surveys, like in the NFL and stuff like that, and they found that there was at one point with Oakland Raiders or LA Raiders at the time came out in an all black kit, and they'd done that sort of thing in American football before. And they just looked mean, and they looked like they were out for business, and they looked like they were professional. And see, when you line up, against a team and they're wearing all black, you sort of feel like you're in for a bit of a battle. You're dressed like sort of the warriors. You sort of dressed like the rebels. We're the bad guys. We're going to fight. We're the good guys. But I know you just and when you're wearing a black kit as well, I think it makes you players, play it different. It's funny when we see some of the away games and the losses we've had when we've wore like grey kits and pink kits and really like teal, all these stuff that belong in a paint shop, not a football park, right? You want bold colours that you can see. Keep this stuff for the fans, but you want contrast on the park, and you don't want to be looking like a peacock. You don't dress up like a Christmas card. So I like solid black kits. I like our strip, green, white hoops. Classic, Real Madrid, teams like that, Yeah. And that's why I think, we should always have a really, really good black kit.
Yeah, it is always a sleek colour. It really is. I'm a big fan of black ones, totally. And but you, Michael, what about yourself when you look at that black kit that Liam's got on? Is it a European night that comes to mind by any chance?
It probably is. Actually, I think Spartak Moscow is the obvious one, right? But I always remember the Scottish Cup final from that season.
We won against Hibs, so we did, yes.
But you know what sticks in my mind for that? It's a silly thing, but I remember the teams came out at the game, right? The teams came out to a song. I thought, what the hell was that song? That's brilliant. It was Avicii, Levels.
Right.
The two teams came out to it. I like the song ever since, but that's all the song always stuck in my mind. And I think Gary Hooper got two, and I think
did.
I remember who got the other one.
Ledley.
Ledley. Aye. So that then we played Helsinki, I think, in the qualifiers.
We did,
and we won that strip as well. And Mcginlay'S scored a cracker, I remember. So I've got good memories of that strip. Right. One of the times I did as well, actually, we played St Mirren.
Yeah.
I think the Scottish Cup run. I couldn't get a ticket for the Celtic end that day, so I ended up in amongst the St Mirren fans behind our dugout. And Neil Lennon was getting abused the whole game. So I sit there, don't say anything. Can't say anything, just don't say a word to him. But it was a hard 90 minutes. I think we won 3-0 or something.
Aye.
But so a couple of memories. It's a beautiful jersey though. Especially with obviously the sleeves turned up. It's unreal.
Yes. I also think Victor Wanyama always looked really good in that kit as well. I remember him from that era. I think he scored a banger at St Mirren as well wearing that kit, funny enough, because but yeah, it was always a good one. But no, it's definitely one of my favourites. Plus it's got the decoration around the badge because it's 125 year one. Yeah.
1888, 2013.
Exactly. It was the season we beat Barcelona. Of course, it was the anniversary, the 125th anniversary. We beat Barca that season. But no, there's a lot of good memories attached to that one.
See, this is a sort of marketing technique, and that is brilliant. That's really, that's when whoever's designing your kits actually know what they're designing, and not just taking just putting random colours together. They've looked into the club, they've looked at, and they've done it in a way that's sort of like tactic called surprise and delight. And I think Nike did great kits for us. I think we got a few classics when we were with them.
Aye, well, we definitely did, no doubt about it. And one make that came before them that a lot of people always harp back to. Obviously, they want them bad. A few people turned against the Adidas stuff. I know our very own Marc Cairney's always a bit disappointed in them, but Umbro seems to come up a lot. So let's go back to a black kit that I think deserved better. But again, it's from a bit of a bad era. But this one, of course, the 92-93 away kit, which we kept for the next season, which then had C.R. Smith back as a sponsor. But as I said on Tuesday night, I was talking about the People's Ford sponsor. We had to get rid of it for a season because it was rather unpopular with Celtic fans because of the red, white and blue. But yeah, this away kit from the 93-94 through to 92-93 through to 93-94 season. Fantastic. And of course, we did get a homage to it from Adidas, which of course was this, not too long after. But Michael, see, when you look at the original one from back in the early 90s, what's the lasting memory there? Because I definitely think it's a kit that deserved better, but again, sadly, victim of the times. But a stunning away kit. And of course, I remember when the Celtic began doing the remakes, like the reissue ones are selling in the Superstore now. That one sold like hotcakes. Like you could not get that one at all initially. It was just selling out all the time. Now they've got plenty back in stock, but I remember at the time trying to get it, and it is hard work to get. But yeah, it's a cracker, that one.
My last memory of that one, to be fair, Phil, is I don't know if you remember at the time the photo shoot to launch a kit. It was at Old Celtic Park, and they had Jerry Cairney, Mark Cairney, and Brian O'Neill in this model with a big bushy blonde hair.
I've seen the pictures, yes.
That just looked so awkward. Even I remember I was really young at the time. It was like, what the hell is that for a kit launch? I think it was just like awkward as hell. And I'll be honest, I didn't like the kit at the time. I hated it for some reason.
Aye?
Honestly, when I was younger, I remember my mate bought it. I was like, what are you doing buying that? That's horrible. But I don't. There's no reason to it. I see it now. It's like, that's lovely. But at the time, for some reason, I just couldn't stand it. I kept stalking put a finger on it, but at the time, I don't like it. I see it now. It's like, I don't know what I was thinking, but
yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't a great time, in fairness.
True.
But maybe that takes my memory a wee bit. But you look at it now, aesthetically, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Can't really argue it. The remake was lovely as well. 2 years ago, it was beautiful. So, just blame it being young and naive, just not liking it. I love this one to be fair, so I didn't like that one. So there you go.
I'd say different taste, but when it comes to when it comes to the original one, it was just slightly before I started getting into football. But obviously, looking back at the kit, I'm really a big fan. But in terms of the more recent one, Liam, which I brought up there a second ago, because obviously we've got the original one from the early 90s, but then Adidas paid a bit of homage to it. And this ended up being one of the best-selling Adidas shirts across their entire range that season. All the teams that they do, this was one of the biggest sellers that they had. And whenever I look at that one, the more recent one, Liam, do you know who I see? I see Daisen Maeda. I see Daisen Maeda scoring a wonder goal at Easter Road, which, funny enough, just a matter of minutes before that, do you remember that he missed an absolute sitter right before he headed it down into the ground and it bounced off the crossbar, if I remember correctly? He's only like 3 yards out, and somehow he managed to miss. But then, like a couple of minutes later, picks up the ball out wide, runs about 20 yards, cuts inside, and bends it with his weaker foot into the far corner. And again, just sums up Daisen Maeda to a T, how he could just go from one to another. But yeah, that the more recent kit, see, I've got more memories of that one. See, the original one, even though it's a nice kit, it's a bit before I began watching Celtic and watching football. But out of the two, with the black and green pinstripes, what you're more a fan of, Liam, the retro one or the Adidas sort of homage to it in 2022?
It's funny. So when the first one came out, I think you look at the music at the times, it looked like something the House Martins or the Smiths would wear. It was the first time, like, it sort of looked when guys were in, there's a lot of that indie sort of bands going on and that, and guys were wearing football shirts on stage the first time in a long time, right? And, so a really good sort of vertical one that was black, bit of green in it. It looked like a strip for the times, right? The new one, I think they nailed it bang on. I think that's when they get it right. Research, figure out what a really good looking top for Celtic was. Once it would be enough of a memory of good players and success and all that, and then something we can try and replicate and then put that onto the team of today. They're good when they steal well. Adidas. It's like, when they start coming up with their cookie cutter ideas and putting them into the same strip, and just changing out the colours, that's lazy. You work with a football team. We have, 150 years of history here. You you don't need to just like block colours and that. You can dive into the roots of the club and find loads of ways to encourage you to make really good strips that the fans are going to want. And but more importantly, like what we're doing today, fans can tell memories and tell stories about, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I know they definitely got it right with the remake one. That, as I say, Adidas, the figures showed it was one of the high selling shirts, and there's still a lot of fans that still wear it. I imagine fans will still be wearing that for many years. How the Adidas, for how long the Adidas deal goes for, I'm not quite sure. If there's only a year left or whatever, but I think the lasting legacy, that'll be one of the top ones that we got in this spell from them, no doubt about it, because yeah, even though it goes back to a kit from a pretty terrible time to be a Celtic fan, it's a great kit, and yeah, it's I say the numbers definitely proved that. But here's another black kit that I know is very, very popular, and also got a sort of homage from another maker later on. Was this one from 2003, as it's known, Black Magic. The black and gold from 2003-2004, Henrik Larsson's last season as a Celtic player. Sad face. But yeah, black and gold. When I see this one, Michael, Petrov comes to my mind in this one. Bobo Baldi as well. Got a lot of images of him in this one too. But yeah, this is a stunning kit. I think black with gold is always a nice combination, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, Phil. That's one of my favourite ones, actually. It just reminds me of won the league at Rugby Park in that strip. I think we won 1-0, and Petrov got the winner. Another one as well. Early in the season, we played them at Rugby Park and we beat them 5-0.
Yes.
That was a Saturday, and I was due to start Kilmarnock College on a Monday. I'd been to Rugby Park before, but obviously Grand Crab blind, and that was my first time kind of looking about in Kilmarnock before the game. I think I'm going to have to spend a year here. Then we won 5-0. I left the game distraught. Like, how are we going to survive a year in this place? But I think as a kit, it's brilliant. And I think the New Balance one doesn't get enough credit, to be honest. I think that was quite nice as well.
Yeah, because the New Balance one was this one, which I think was definitely paying a homage to it with the black and gold. Again, I'm always a big fan of black with gold. I think it's a nice combination, nice contrast to it. And yeah, this was a good one. Of course, this one, the first time this got sported, Liam, was Lincoln Red Imps. But when it comes to a lasting memory, the first player that actually comes to my mind is actually Scotty Sinclair. I can remember quite early in the season as playing St Johnstone. I think Sinclair started the season, but I think he scored like his first 5 or 6 games. But I remember him scoring up at St Johnstone, a wee set piece move at a corner, and we were wearing that kit that day. But yeah, he's always, whenever I look at that one, he's always the first player that comes to mind for me, Liam. What about yourself when you look at that, the New Balance one from the Invincible treble season?
I never liked that kit. Of all the black ones, it's like I know the players. I know Larsson or something. I mean, can't really remember any players in that kit because I don't know, something about that kit turned me off. I think it was too busy. It's like
too much going on there. Yeah, when you look at the original,
they didn't need all those stripes, right? You know, as where the one you had before, the Black Magic one was that one for me was an absolutely cracker. I look at that strip and that brings back tons of memories. You know, of like, you know, I can see the whole team. That strip you just showed me. I struggle to identify any Celtic players with that kit. I don't particularly have any memories of us playing particularly well in it, or or a big game in that. Whereas in the other one, I do.
Yeah, well, the first game I ever wore it, the 2016 one was Lincoln Red Imps. We also wore it away to Hapwell Beershaver, and that was an uncomfortable night, even though we did get there in the end. But geez, was it Saidi Yanko and Craig Gordon colliding with each other and bundling the ball into the net? Oh, that was a tough night, but we did get through in the end. But yeah, whenever I see the Invincible treble one, the New Balance version, it's Scotty Sinclair always comes to mind for me in that one. But yeah, say black and gold is always a nice combination. But yeah, I've got a couple of black ones as well, though. This one they've recently done a remake of in the Superstore. But again, when it comes to last dimension, this is one from a season I was talking quite fondly about when I was doing Under the Bonnet. It was the 95-96 season, Tommy Burns' second season, where we really kicked into full gear, but still came up short. We just lost out in the league we lost one game all season and didn't win. But something that comes back to my mind, Michael, is a goal that we scored at Easter Road in this kit. and it's some of the best football. I think honestly in 1995 this is as well, but it's like also 1-2 passes, and Jackie McNamara finishes it off. I think he volleys in, it's like him and Simon Donnelly play a nice sort of 1-2 with each other, and he like gets chipped over. He keeps his run going and just volleys it into the net. But I remember they were wearing this kit as well. Also, I see guys like Pierre Van Hooijdonk when I look at this kit as well. But yeah, obviously the club's recently done a remake of it. But again, another one associated with a good time. But yeah, we just came up a little short. But I'm a big fan of that away kit as well. I quite like that one. What about yourself, Michael?
Again, that's another one I didn't like at the time.
Didn't like it
for some reason. I just never liked it. Again, I see it now. I like it, but that the game you pointed out, Phil, is I associate with that as well. But even before the 95 cup finals, remember we played Dundee United at Tannadice?
Yes, we wore it in that.
That's the game before it, and Peter Grant went down with a knee injury.
He did, yes.
And that was him ruled out of the cup final apparently for 3 months. And they somehow made the cup final a week after. I think it was a cruciate injury as well.
It was, aye. It's a mad how he managed to pull that off.
A week after, so that always sticks in my mind as well. I was at the game with my dad actually, but so that always sticks in my mind for that game as well. But the one at Hibs was phenomenal. Aye. The goal we were talking about. But 8 one-touch passes, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And Jackie McNamara finishes it off. I think it was his first goal for the club as well.
Over a goalkeeper.
Yep. Aye. Oh, it was an absolute screamer of a goal. But yeah, I'd say that kit. And it's funny enough, you mentioning the wore it at Tannadice. That was back in the day when a new kit was coming. They would sometimes wear it in like the last couple of games of the season, even though it was going to be the new kit for the next season. Sometimes they would do it in cup finals as well. They would wear it, but it's kind of stopped now. But I know a lot of football clubs used to do that, and Celtic did it quite a lot, where it would be like the new kit coming out for the new season. They would wear it in the last couple of games. But yeah, I can remember the game at Tannadice, and yeah, the Peter Grant injury. It's mad that he actually made that final. I remember watching the stuff on like the Celtic history documentary and stuff like that about it, talking how it was off, because yeah, it was like a cruciate ligament injury. So how on earth he managed to recover in time for a week later to play against Airdrie is astounding. But yeah, that's what comes to my mind as well when I look at that black kit. But in terms of, we've covered most of the black ones, so let's move on to another very popular colour for Celtic away kits, and of course yellow. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's in your face, and we've had many different shades of yellow, of course, along the way. So we'll start with this one, which I think has a lot of last memories. I'm pretty sure the first memories that come to mind when you look at this all involve European nights, because it's this one. And this, of course, is the away kit in the season that Celtic got to Seville. They wore it away to Blackburn Rovers, away to Celta Vigo, away to Stuttgart, and away to Boa Vista. And I think the one name that really stands out in that run and wearing that kit and the goals that he scored along the way has to be Henrik Larsson for me. Liam, he's the first. Whenever I see that kit, I just think of Larsson. I think of the Boa Vista goal, how it just came back to him nicely as he tried to play a 1-2, I think, with Sutton or Hearts, and the kind of who it was trying to play the 1-2 with, but it came back into his path. I think the defender maybe toes it back into his path, but he takes it under control, and with his left foot, just as a guide it past the goalkeeper, and the panic from the Boa Vista players, because they had been fannying about all night to try and time waste, remember? And the sudden panic that they realised with 10 minutes to go, they're heading out, but that yellow kit, say, look at the teams that we beat along the way. We wore it in pretty much all the away games, apart from Liverpool at Anfield. But yeah, Blackburn, Celta Vigo, Stuttgart, and Boa Vista. So it's a kit that's definitely associated, I'd say, with European nights. And for me, as I say, Henrik Larsson, Liam, just first thing I think of when I see that shirt.
Aye, Larsson as well, because it's class that. Yeah, I like it as well. It's simple. Again, it's simple, right? I think as well, see when you're playing, under the lights and all that, it must be really easy to spot your teammates when they're wearing a kit like that. Like, you think you'd probably see motion faster. You'd see, you'd quicker see, like if you're all yellow, your team rather, like complementing blue and white versus white and blue. You know what I mean? That sometimes you see. So I like I liked a good yellow Celtic kit. As a fan, never wanted to ever wear one, buy it for a supporter, but I liked seeing the team in it. And I also love getting it for my kid as well, because you good parenting, man. You can see them all in the park, All you young parents out there, get your kids in Celtic hoops and the yellow tops. You can see them everywhere, You don't have to lose sight of them.
Yeah, you can't miss that from a mile away. But what about yourself, Michael? When you look at that kit, is it European nights that come to mind right away, and just some of the amazing results? Back when we used to actually really be good in Europe, Michael.
I know it's a cliche answer, obviously, but it's got to be Larson and Boavista, isn't it? There's no other one. I remember actually Thompson scoring an absolute belter at Dunfermline in that strip, fun enough. Yep. But again, that's me clutching, really. It's Larson all the way into it, and Boavista and Blackburn. Beautiful strip. I had it at the time as well. Wasn't that much different for the NTL one before it?
Aye, that would be this one, which again, Henrik Larsson. I just think of Henrik Larsson because the 2 cup finals that season against Kilmarnock and against Hibs, we wore it. He scored a hat-trick against Kelly and he scored 2 against Hibs. So again, these 2 kits, back to back, Henrik Larsson all over. It's just Henrik.
I'm sorry if I've ruined one of your future entries.
No, you brought it up. I was going to be bringing that up in amongst the yellow section anyway, so I was
I didn't mean to bring it in early, but that's just what it reminds me of, basically. But it's got to be Larson and Boavista, isn't it? Simple as that. And Blackburn as well, obviously. But it's a cracking kit. I loved it at the time. And even look back on it now, it's still lovely.
Yeah, it's a fantastic one. But also Stephen Fleming on the comments there is saying, I don't know if he means the 2009-10 or 2008-9 season, but of course both of them were yellow because the 08-09 yellow one is that. And sadly, that's the opposite of the one we're just looking at because the previous one was obviously associated with a lot of European success. When I look at this, I just see European failures against Aalborg. I know we get tanked against Man United at Old Trafford wearing that one. That was I remember Barry Robson put us ahead against Aalborg and it looked like we're finally going to get our first away win in the Champions League, and then we lost 2-1 and Gary Caldwell scored an own goal as he does in a Celtic shirt. But yeah, that was the 08-09 one. Here's another mad yellow one, and Liam Murray, get your opinion on this because again, being into your art design and fashion and whatnot, what was your opinion of this when it first hit shop the shelves? Because again, when I look at this one, the first person I see, because I was there at the game when he had a blinder, Charlie Mulgrew, down at Rugby Park. We beat them 6-0. We won the league that day, but we're wearing this shirt. And at first, I remember when this first debuted, and I just went, that is horrendous. But when I saw it in person and I ended up buying it, I actually kind of grew to like it a wee bit. But I always see Charlie Mulgrew when I look at this shirt because of that performance at Rugby Park the day that we won the league. But looking at that, quite an abstract design to say the least, Liam.
Wasn't it? You think they were listening to Oasis when they designed that? You can hear it. You can hear Primal screaming on that in the background. And the designer was putting that design together thinking, I wish I was working in video instead. You know? And that's what ends up happening with a football shirt like that. I mean, yeah, it's all right. I mean, I say, throw it under a denim jacket, you look okay with it, right? And again, fucking logos. I hate the logos. Mine's finally just start coming off.
Look at that. There you go.
But after one goal before the thing, and that was a disaster. But anyhow, yeah, I think I don't know. I think if you're going to have fun, do it with an away strip, right?
Yeah, of course.
You put too much creativity into the home scripts and stuff, then you're left with nothing, right? You don't really have an identity anymore, you know. So I think you look at our away strips. I don't think we need to go to all these great colours as we've shown tonight. You know, the black and the yellow both work well for us for different reasons.
Yep.
You know, and I think variations of that, bringing out these grey stuff and the light pink and the teal, we never wore them. Because I don't think players feel confident in them, and you don't feel connected to the club, and the fans don't have any connection to these new fashiony type colours. We've grown up with traditional values with things like that as meaning, you know, rather than just picking them from what goes well with the colour of the year, you know. So you get.
Or you get the niche ones like don't get me wrong, I liked that they did that pink one in the Invincible treble season, but I liked the pink one with the black. I thought it was nice contrast, but they said apparently New Balance claimed the reason they went for that pink colour, that reddish pink, was it was the colour of the ticket for the 1967 European Cup final. And I'm like, that is such a niche reference. If that's what you've went for, that is so niche. And also we've seen Adidas recently with the stained glass window that used to be above Celtic Park. They did it for a few other kits. There was the white away kit with the green pinstripes and the pink pinstripes. Apparently it was part of the stained glass window design, and then of course the home kit last season. Again, you described it, Liam, as it looked reptilian at first glance, but they're like, oh no, it's all about the stained glass window. But yeah, it's all a bit niche at times. Sometimes just keep it simple. There's very set colours when it comes to Celtic, and yellow, black. We've had green, white. These are all traditional colours that we usually have for away kits. They usually work pretty well. When they start going a bit too out there, you get that horrible grey one with the big pink chevron across it from 2019, which we never ever wore. So there's no memories of that one, so that's not going to feature at all tonight. But I did say a few moments ago, I was talking about the yellow ones. I says the yellows came in many different shades, and I think people know where this is going, because the first few kits I've looked at, they are very solid colour of yellow. But what happens when they looked across to Germany and saw Borussia Dortmund wearing neon yellow and black in the mid-90s, Umbro thought, aha, that's a good design. I'm a big fan of it. I know many fans still love it to this day. And of course, Michael, it has to be the neon yellow Bumblebee kit from 1996-97. I say maybe they looked at Borussia Dortmund too at that point in time, where sporting the neon yellow and black. I always think it's a great colour combination. I love this shirt. As I said on Under the Bonnet when I did my episode the other week, first game I went to the new stadium, I had the full kit on. I was only 11 years old. Don't hold it against me. Loved the Bumblebee. Sadly, associated again that season anyway. We couldn't stop Rangers from 9 in a row, but we kept that for the next season as our away kit, and we did stop them from the 10 in a row. But when I look at this kit, the first guy I see is Di Canio, the goal at Pittodrie, Michael, where he flicks it up over the goalkeeper's head it's like a long free kick from Alan Stubbs from his own half, and he controls it brilliantly. He beats the offside trap, debatably. I don't know what VAR would say nowadays if VAR was around at that time. Takes it on one touch to lift it over the keeper's head and then puts it away. So Di Canio for me, Michael, is what I see when I look at the Bumblebee kit. What about yourself? What's your first memory of it as soon as you see it?
100%, mate. Di Canio, 100%. But Di Canio, obviously, the goal boots and the goal at Pittodrie is going to be the most iconic one. But I remember it was Rugby Park as well when he came on.
Yes.
They changed the game. I think it was his league debut, maybe. But remember I said, Phil, I've got a surprise trip.
Yes.
Tonight, right?
Yes, indeed.
There we go.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
That's an actual player issue strip.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You see the badge is embroidered.
Ah, okay, right, okay. Nice.
Right, the Umbro's embroidered as well.
Ah, right, okay.
Right, and this is the back as well.
It's number 12. Di Canio wore number 12. Is that Di Canio's?
No, it's not Di Canio's jersey.
Mate. Oh, well, I thought you were going to go there. I thought that's what you were setting that up for there, but you mentioned Di Canio.
No, I did claim for years it was that when I was younger, but
okay.
I was just being my mates. Used to go up to Celtic Park a lot when I was younger to get the players' autographs and stuff. And but up to tail end of the season, obviously Tommy Burns last season, and we went to the Celtic store at the time, and they just had them a rack to play issue jerseys with the numbers in the back and everything.
Oh, nice.
They were selling them for a tenner.
What?
Literally, that strip was a tenner. I don't know what it's worth now on eBay and stuff like that. And my mate got a long sleeve one with 14 in the back. I think he paid something like £12 for it, and I got because Di Canio was my hero at the time. That number 12, that was a game at Kilmarnock. I want number 12.
He came on as a sub, said 12 on, yeah, because it was back in the days when they were still numbered 1 through 11. But he came on as a sub that day and had 12 on his back. I remember it's the one where he sort of drop of the shoulder, jinks inside him with the outside of the foot, sort of stabs it into the net.
So that's a player I should use. I bought that in April, May 97. And I moved houses and flats and different things like that in that time, and I've always kept it in a box that I'll never ever give it up, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like you say, like you're talking about classic football shirts and stuff like that, and what they sell for. Like I was tempted a couple of times to try and value it and see what it go for, but I've had it that long now when I part with it.
No, that's fair, man. I don't blame you at all, man. I've been keeping that as well for as long as I'm around, to be keeping a hold of that and don't let anybody have it. But Liam, you're a man, obviously, you like a bit of pop culture and stuff like that. Kit, let's forget about the actual era, because there's obviously a couple of comments that came up about this, and I think this is something you would always appreciate. Jota in the Brazen Head wearing it. Remember that when he popped up at the Brazen Head sporting the classic Bumblebee kit? And then, of course, he left us just a matter of weeks later. Sad, but he certainly knew what he was doing that day. He certainly bought into the club on that day. But what a kit to choose. What a handsome man in the Brazen Head wearing that kit. Fantastic.
Did Georgia Cadetti wear that kit?
He did indeed, with the collar turned up, doing his iconic celebration. Yep.
The way to ever, like, remember Cantona was doing that at the time, and that time was a perfect kit because, you know, we had a team that was pretty good at that point. And, you know, looked all right. I thought we were turning a corner, and then, especially when you see what was happening in fashion at the time and that as well, everybody was starting to get rid of wearing denims. Everybody was wearing like coloured trousers and this and bold colours. It was like Screamadelica, right? Happy Mondays and all that shit, and you know, and coming out, you know, and different music and all that. So yeah, that was like our acid phase, you know, our acid house era of kits and stuff, and it looks good as well. I think you get stripes like that, makes you broader across the chest, right? So when you're playing against teams, you play with more confidence because you look bigger. And you know, good kits should do that, right? That's why the hoops is good. You know, we just need to have players that can fill them.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And with that kit, it's iconic to this day, still remembered. And yeah, we did keep it for the second season. We did keep it for 97, 98. We did, of course, wear it in the season that we did stop Rangers winning the 10. Of course, Henrik Larsson famously passed the ball to Chick Charnley wearing it. It wasn't the best of starts for Henrik, but things turned out okay for him in the end. But as I said earlier, there's been a couple of times where later on down the years, another manufacturer decided to pay homage to a kit, and of course the Bumblebee did get reproduced by, it was Nike this time, and sadly this one doesn't have many good memories. It's, again, I talked about it recently. Oh, Tony Mowbray season. Oh god. Yes, this kit, when I look at this one, I just see bad memories. I love it as well because, again, it's Bumblebee design. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's in your face, neon yellow and black. And yeah, all I just see is bad memories from that season. If we want to talk positive, I guess Robbie Keane, he scored a fair amount of goals in it, but it was all for nothing really. But yeah, Michael, it's not attached to many good memories, that kit. The second Bumblebee, 2009-10.
I know, Phil. It's a beautiful kit, actually, but again, I'm clutched at the straws to remember a good moment in it, to be fair.
It's tough.
I think Paddy McCourt's got a cracker at St Mirren's in it.
Paddy McCourt, actually, see, when you think about it now, he scored 2 brilliant goals. He scored one against Falkirk in the League Cup, where he beat about 5 players and scored, and one against St Mirren wearing it as well. So you're right.
That's right.
Paddy McCourt's actually one of the few good moments, I think, in that kit.
Very few good moments.
Yeah.
As a strip, though, it's beautiful.
It is.
I think it's lovely. But one of those ones, a victim of its time, isn't it, really? Victim of the season it was worn.
Yeah.
But, there's a kit beautiful, but that season, forget about it.
Tattoo face saying Donati, that's right. He scored his last ever goal for the club against Arsenal. We got trounced at the Emirates Stadium, but he scored that night. And of course, Graham Tyrrell's come in saying Nguemo, RIP, it's that season. Nguemo just the other day, the news, 38 years old, same age as me. And it just shows you how life is precious, how you could just go in the blink of an eye. And I remember Nguemo, he was a decent player for us that season, but everything was going wrong. Again, I was talking about it in Under the Bonnets series the other week. I was just saying how bad that season was. So Mowbray got a lot of backing in the summer and in the winter, but no matter what he did, it just didn't work. But yeah, Nguemo, he was obviously part of that team that season. But I just, oh, day, man, shocking news. Absolutely depressing stuff to hear. But yeah, that kit, say it doesn't have many good memories. We did keep it for the season after that, but we did win the Scottish Cup the second season we had that weekend. Of course, the sponsor changed from Carling to Tennent's as well. We kept that for Lenny's first full season. But another neon yellow one as well, which is more recent, I suppose. It's from the New Balance era. And it was this one. Do you remember this third kit from Brendan's third season, I believe? And again, the first person that I see, and I think it's a common thing when I look at most of the New Balance era, sort of Brendan Rodgers era. The first thing I see is Scott Sinclair again scoring a winner against Rosenborg away from home in Europe. A header at the back post. When it comes to that one, because yeah, the neon yellow, I say it always stands out. So yeah, every time I see that one, that's the first guy I always see is Scotty Sinclair. But yeah, say not many. We didn't wear it that many times, but yeah, I can always remember that one in particular. Might have wore it against Hibs. In fact, if I remember right, Lenny when he took over as an interim boss, I think we wore it at Hibs because we had Hearts and Hibs back to back. And did James Forrest and Scott Brown not score 2 absolute worldies that night, Michael, if I remember right, against Hibs in the Scottish Cup? Because it would have been that kit we probably would have been wearing, because the other away kit we had that season was green, so you couldn't wear it against Hibs. But yeah, that yellow one, I'm pretty sure we were wearing that, and it was Forrest and Brown. I think it was Forrest goal, and a pure net buster there goal as well from distance at Easter Road.
That's right, is it? That's right. We had Hearts in the midweek and we had Hibs, didn't we, in the weekend. I mind that Scott Brown actually scored a good goal at Rugby Park that more or less confirmed the league for us as well in that strip.
So he did. Yes, he did. Scott Brown won the league at Rugby Park. Yes,
Park,
spot on. Yeah.
And more negative memory as well. I remember we played St Mirren early in the season. Our form wasn't great, and I think Olivier Cham was doing his best to get himself sent off.
He was on a mad one that night. You're right.
Aye. He'd be booked early doors and he just kept trying to tackle everything, and just wanted himself. He basically chucked it. But again, like you said, Phil, Easter Road and Rugby Park definitely for that strip. I think the strip's actually quite nice. I'll be honest with you, I think it was all right.
So I'm a big fan of the neon yellow with the black. It always reminds me of, say, Borussia Dortmund, the mid-90s Borussia Dortmund. Nowadays, Dortmund have gone back to just sort of flat yellow with black, but I always think they should have kept the neon because it's iconic to me. I think of Paul Lambert winning the Champions League for Dortmund or in that team in the mid-90s, beat Juventus, and they had the neon yellow with black, and they had it for a good time through the 90s. But then they went back to just regular yellow, and I always think they should keep the neon. So whenever we do wheel out a neon yellow kit, I'm always a big fan of it. Nice and bright and vibrant. And another, this is an obvious answer. This is a sort of last. Well, no, I've got a couple more yellow ones we can quickly glance at. But I think the answer to this one, Liam, is obviously going to be Olivier Cham, because when you see this kit, I think you see us conquering Rome with that last-minute goal where he chips it over the goalkeeper. The angle's getting away from him all the time. They just dinks it over the keeper brilliantly, and Rome was conquered. Then the iconic cartwheel celebration that he did, and that second spell of Lenny, even though it obviously turned pretty sour, but that first full season back, he got it right in Europe. That with the Europa League group, the way he navigated it, we topped the group. We beat Lazio home and away, but I think when you see that yellow kit, Liam, it's Olivier Cham every day of the week, isn't it?
Mate, you missed a goal there. You should have had it upside down for the second.
I should have actually. I know, I should have. Yeah.
I think he was doing he was trying to mock Mussolini or something at the time. Somebody actually.
Somebody drew that comparison, yes.
Good icon. It was a big Star Trek for me, right? Looks like you could be on the bridge, might not be. That Scottish,
Possibly they had a sort of darker colour, and it could be actually.
Beat me up one or two. But yeah, I liked that kit. And then that team. I mean, they were good in Europe. That was when I went as all right, home and away, an Italian team. The way we beat them, I thought Elio Anusi, he was good in that kit as well.
Yeah,
but he played really well. I thought, okay, right investment. That's one of the times you get your hopes up with that team. All right, maybe we're turning a corner, and then we all know what happens, right?
yeah, we all know how it quickly went south. We played against Copenhagen wearing that. We had a decent enough away showing, but capitulated in the home game, obviously. So, and then things didn't get much better after that. Sadly, kind of COVID happened, and then we know what happened after that. But Monty's asking this one, and I'm glad to come with you, Michael, because this is a little bit before my time. What about the yellow away strip for the centenary season? So I guess that would be this one. The yellow for 1987-88 season. But that's obviously one that they've got as a remake now in the Superstore, as well as this one from the early 90s, which is quite an out there design. But what's your memories of these two? So you were watching Celtic a little bit before me at that point. What do you remember with those two kits? The centenary one and the sort of I gotta be Billy McNeil's last season, that away kit, 1991.
It was and Tommy Burns' last season as a player as well.
Okay, right.
The second strip. I think that the first one, the centenary season, is the first strip I had, I think.
Okay.
I'm sure it was, but see, that one, I'd run from maybe 1986 to 88, I think.
Oh, back in the days we had it for 2 seasons, okay.
No, it was even longer than that, Phil. I think maybe 4 or 5 seasons, actually. If you look back, we changed it a couple of times. We changed the sponsor colour. We changed, it was green originally, and it changed to black. They made it centenary season, so the crest changed.
Okay, got you.
Right, so then after that changed to the second one you were showing, but I'm sure that strip ran different variations of it for 4 or 5 seasons at least, I'm sure. Which is quite mad when you think back, but I remember reading that a while ago. The second one is that I just love that strip. That's the for aesthetically, I think it's a beautiful strip anyway. And I've always remembered it fondly because my first away game was wearing that strip. Was the second one, so I always remember that fondly as well. But I think it's like you were saying. I think it's synonymous with the centenary season.
Yeah,
just the plain yellow with the green.
Yep.
The green collar, the green basically sleeves as well. And obviously the crest and stuff like that. And like I said, it changed for the centenary crest to the centenary season.
Yeah,
I just think it's a beautiful, simple kit. And the diamonds as well for it. I think it's beautiful.
Simple is just sometimes the right answer, just going for a simple approach. But again, it's a bit before my time. But again, from watching footage from back in the day, when you catch it on YouTube and stuff, and I've always envisioned Mick McCarthy in that because I think he made his debut down at Capello that season, and they were wearing the yellow top because obviously the colour clash with Morton, but they wear a hooped kit as well that's predominantly white. So I always see Mick McCarthy whenever I see that one and just think of him because again, when I've watched documentaries about the centenary season, it shows clips of his debut, but yeah, it was doing it at Capello he played. But we'll move on into another colour again. I've got it grouped into 4 different colours. So we've done black, we've done yellow. Another one we get is we try to get a white home kit from away kit from time to time. And the reason why I said home kit there is, guys, what happens when a home kit does actually become an away kit? And of course, it would be this. Remember this special third kit that did the white out one with the Tenants logo? Is hidden very, very strategically under the crest because it was the third kit to the one that Liam is wearing just now. He's obviously got the away from 2012-13. But we wore this one I only wore it twice in a home game against Hearts where Samaras scored. So that is always my lasting memory of this. But I also feel like we also wore it at Tannadice in a game. I feel like it was up at Tannadice. Did Tony Watt score that day? I feel like Tony Watt got a goal in that shot. But Samaras is a guy that comes to my mind right away. But this one, Liam, is regarded... In fact, see the away kit you've got on, Liam, and see the home kit that goes to that and this one. Many fans regard that as like the best collection of shirts we've had in a long time. All 3 that season, they were quite simple and effective and very memorable. Say the green and white hoops was very much... didn't mess with it too much. The Tenants logo was small and just under the badge. Obviously, the black one you've got on the away kit, and then they did this, and obviously to hide the Tenants, they did it in the same colour as the shirt. But yeah, as I say, that's when a home kit became an away kit because it was paying homage to the very first ever Celtic shirt. But yeah, Liam, what's your opinions on that? White, simple, and effective.
I've when and I guess it's all just based on history and research and stuff. I wouldn't have went with the dark collar, But then it would look like you get jerseys at supporters clubs or other place. But for a one-off, I think, for the team to wear that, it's a collectible. It's a throwback to our history. It's something where they've actually researched the club and just tried to get it as bang on as they could. And I think for historians and people who collect stuff about Celtic, that's a great top to have because it just sort of connects you with, 150 years of unbroken history, Phil.
Well, yes, it is indeed. Yes, don't ever forget that across the city. Michael, see for this one, I'm going to tell you the player first, and I'll see if you can get the shirt. See if I tell you this white shirt I'm about to show you. Lubomir Moravcik's the first player that comes to mind for me. Do you know what shirt I'm about to show you?
Yep, the white one with green down the sleeves. Yep.
And it's because of a screamer of a goal at Easter Road. I think we beat them 5-2 or something that day. An absolutely amazing performance. But he scores what I like to call on the show a thunder bastard of a goal. Absolutely laces it, and the goalkeeper's got no chance. But yeah, this again is simple and it's effective, really. And yeah, again, nice and clean. White kits, black kits. They're always just very, clean and fresh looking. But yeah, as soon as I see this kit, all I see is Lubomir Moravcik absolutely busting the net at Easter Road, Michael.
100%. Phil, he scored a free kick. We're in that strip at Fir Park as well. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful strip. I've still got that one actually with 7 God in the back. Nice. Shows you my mentality at the time. But no, it's a beautiful strip. It's simple, clean, and can't really go wrong with it. We tried to do that, didn't we, a few years later as well, under Mowbray, I think, but it's a remake. But
that would be that one.
That one, aye.
Yeah.
That is that one, aye. That is that one.
Yes, Celeste said, I think we wore that at Tynecastle and we get beat. I can remember one deflecting off of Gary Caldwell. Hearts had a pop from outside the box and it hit off Gary Caldwell's knee and looped over. Artur Boric would have been in goal for, well, maybe Zaluska, but yeah, it was, again, another kit associated with bad times. But I like this kit. I like the green tartan. I like what they went for, but and the shorts were green tartan too. But yes, another one that's got many bad memories associated with it, and another white one as well. And again, it's got bad memories. I think we wore it twice, but again, I think of a cup final loss, and I think of that one. Remember the loss to Kilmarnock. I've been at Hampden. I've quite a lot of times in the last 15 or so years watching Celtic, and I've came away quite gutted at many times. But that Kilmarnock game, I still to this day have trouble accepting that we did not turn up that day. Bloody Kilmarnock. And the most frustrating bit was a couple of weeks later, we beat them 6-0 on their own park to win the league. But yeah, we absolutely I don't know what happened that day. We just couldn't get it right. And yeah, that shot, I think we wore it one other time against Aberdeen at Pittodrie. But yeah, when I look at that one, I just see bad news. I see Gary Hooper missing a chance early in the game when Cammy Bell pulled off a decent save. He just get played in by the defender. He's in one-on-one. You're backing Gary Hooper to score this, surely. And he missed. And it's like, I just see bad things with that one. And with this white one as well, this one's James Forrest all over, guys. When they see this one, I just see James Forrest at St Johnstone destroying them. I think we beat them 6-0 and he scored 4 that day. So this kit is always James Forrest to me. Liam, what about you?
When you look at that, Phil, and viewers look at that, do you not see a face? Like, the 2 eyes, the ears, just all the everything about that is just wrong,
It does actually, now you point out, aye.
You're sitting there, right? You see a dog with floppy ears. I don't know. Sometimes when you're making kits and all that, you can take a look at what it looks optically, right? Yeah, I know you put the logo on here and there. I like when they, when we're talking about the strip edges go, the Nike one, they put the Nike in the middle because they didn't want to give you that sort of thing, like evening and balance and everything out. And I like the kits where we break from the tradition and just do stuff that's a little different. But also, you guys start having meaning in the strips as well too, right? Because when we're talking about the stain, this comes from the stained glass, right? So you look at symbology and things that have meaning and all that. So basically your players are made of glass. No wonder we had so many injuries wearing that strip, because you know what? The whole mindset and the meaning and stuff that you put in things, like using that as a way to, this is how we're going to celebrate Celtic by, we'll put stained glass on across ourselves. Oh, that makes you delicate and breakable. And that's why the black strips work so well, because you look hard, intimidating.
Yeah.
And, we've been bullied a lot in the last couple of years, so we need to bring back a good black strip that we can beast a bit of park and show them who's boss.
That's exactly it. We need black kits. The last 2 seasons we've had black away kits and we've won 5 trophies out of a potential 6. So that is the secret right there. But the last white one I was going to show you, it was saying that, Michael, and you'll have to educate me on this one, because when I bumped into you at Celtic Park not too long ago, you said it was called the cheese and onion kit. Now, whenever you try and look this up on Google to find a reference point, I can only ever find one picture of Pierre Van Hooijdonk wearing it in a game. So I don't know if the team wore it that often, but obviously the cheese and onion kit, for those who do not know, is this, which of course you can buy a remake these days in the club shop without the Umbro branding on it. But yeah, cheese and onion, obviously green, yellow and white. But every time I try and look up to find pictures of that one, I can only find one of Pierre Van Hooijdonk. I don't know who it's against, because there's no other opposition players in shot. But was it one that got wheeled out quite a lot, or was it just like once or twice it ever appeared and then never again?
That one, you mean?
That's the one. Yes, spot on. That is the one.
That's my original one.
Nice.
Phil, that was a weird one. That came out, I think, it was a Hampden season. I think
it would have been your 94-95, yeah.
It came out in the February, start of March. I can't remember the dates, to be honest, but we wore it in majority of the home games towards the end of that season. We did. Okay. We wore it every home game after that. I think we were that bad at Hampden at the time. We felt like trying to do something to kind of cheer us up. But no, we wore it a good few home games in a row. That strip. So
also, Jack said it was meant to be a European away kit, which, of course, if you think of Celtic in the 90s in Europe, yeah.
That was the forthcoming, obviously. We wore it. I've got a few home games in a row at Hampden. Tail end of that season.
Yeah.
We wore it in the League Cup. The first season back at Celtic Park against Raith Rovers. And that was the only time it was ever won.
Aye, so it's no.
You're lucky if it was won 5 times at the very most. But I've got a few home games around the Hampden season, then one the first season back at Celtic Park, and that was it. It was done. But I liked the strip. I thought it was lovely. I loved it at the time.
So when I went into
obviously, but
I went to Superstore the other week and I saw that the remakes that they'd done, that was there again, just because of the cult status of it, because it's one of those ones that in most people's eyes it's so ugly it's good. It's one of these ones that over time it just gets better because you just go, it's so odd and out there. And I've always said before, I was like a quite quirky away shirt. I always like them to do something a bit different. So I had to get it right away, even though mine isn't the original with the Umbro branding on it, but it's still, it's a cracker, man. I love it because, again, it's bold, it's different, and it's out there. But moving on then to bold, different, and out there, and Liam, we'll have to get your opinion again with the artistic side. And obviously, Michael's been modelling it for us all night. But let's get a closer picture up on the screen of it. Let's move on to the green section, the final section of our away kits. And, of course, it's this one. The financial crash kit, which the spikes go up and then they go down and they flatline and they don't come back up. Now, interestingly enough, this is a template that Umbro used because Parma also had this away kit, or that design that season, but theirs was yellow, white, and blue. But interestingly enough, the spikes on theirs don't go down and stay down; they go back up again. So again, that's why I think were they taking the piss out of Celtic because we were skint. But the Parma one goes back up the way and it looks symmetrical. But that one isn't symmetrical, which is a bit annoying for people with OCD. That's quite irritating. But yeah, it's like it's one of those ones, Liam, that again at the time, maybe it was. I know Johnny Logue said in the chat earlier on. He said that's one of his least favourite ones. It's a monstrosity. But again, it's so ugly that it's good. Over time, it goes full circle, and people just go, "Do you know what? I actually quite like that." But Liam, looking at that one, what do you think, mate? What's your artistic opinion on that?
I see beauty ugly in lots of things and all that. And I think that's one with time. Time has been very, very kind to that strip. What I would like to have been is I would have liked to have been like, did that come with any sort of presentation for who was ever delivering our kits? Or is it just there you go? Because I'd like to see how they sold that to our board or family cabal or whatever was it at the time, right? This white skin, it's like max headroom, it's like Beverly Hills Cup, and just like it's electric, everything's power, everything's, so we're going to have this white, powerful line, a bolt that's stretching across the chest, immortalizing players and, let them live in history forever. And, whatever, how, I don't know how they would have done that. Well, it was fucking heavy bullshit involved. But when I see it now, it's only because it reminds me of people, it's an anchor to, like, you see somebody wearing that, they're not a casual Celtic fan, right?
Yes, Michael, you're not a casual, mate. We know that.
There's been 100 games and got 1,000 stories, and so I'd never regret bumping into a guy in a pub wearing that one night. I bet he had a story or two, and that's it. These sort of strips take me to their place. It's like you gotta be something else to pull that off, man. That's I can.
Well, Michael, is there any lasting memories, any things that stands out when you look at that kit? Is there a player or a moment that comes to mind right away? Because again, when I look up, try to find pictures of that, I always find pictures of a game against Airdrie, pictures of Charlie Nicholas wearing it and John Collins and whatnot, but it's always against Airdrie, their old stadium. But yeah, I can't find many other games where they seem to have worn it. But is there anything positive about that kit? Is there a good moment that you can think of? Or is it just all bleak?
I'll give you a very personal one, Phil. We played Airdrie actually that season. I think beaten for nothing. And I was there with my dad. I was young. And just before, we done at half time, there was a bar just below where we stood. And obviously wasn't serving alcohol, but serving drinks and stuff. I went to the toilet. I saw the bar there, came back up. I thought to myself, that'll be empty after half time. I went down just after half time, tried to steal Iron Brew out and get caught, and it took up my dad just after starting setting off. Keep an eye on him, he tried to steal stuff at the bar. But that was we won 3-0 against Airdrie at that point. Like Jerry, Tommy Coyne and Cass Kiro,
Tommy Coyne.
I think. But that's a funny personal memory, but in terms of good memories, in terms of the team,
Not many.
probably not, to be honest. No. We won it a handful of times. But you said Oldham had the exact same kit.
Oldham had it and all right. I knew him because again,
I only found it out recently. I only found it the last few weeks as well. Oldham is the exact same one, aye. Exact same kit.
Aye. Because again, I thought it was a unique one that Umbro just used for us, but I was looking on some classic football shirts website a while back, and I saw a Parma one, and I went, "Holy shit, that's that Celtic shirt with a different colour scheme." But yeah, as I say, the Parma one's actually symmetrical, and the arrows go back up the way. But the Celtic one, they just stay down. So as I say, the financial crash kit, as I like to say, in the mid-90s or the early 90s, they were definitely mocking us for our financial state at that point, and Oldham as well had it.
Oldham is the exact same colour scheme and everything, exact same strip, barring the crests and the sponsor. Literally the exact same colours and everything. I actually found it out a few weeks ago.
Fucking mad. It's crazy,
it was strange. I didn't realise that either.
I say a few people though speaking of colour schemes, a few people in the chat have obviously brought up the controversial sponsor. So earlier in the week on the Tuesday, I was wearing the home version from that season as well, with the People's Ford on the front. Yeah, they had to get rid of it for the next season because the board did not read the room, as they still do to this day. They don't read the room. But yeah, let's continue on some green ones then. And again, I'm going to do that thing I did a few minutes ago with the Moravchik one. I'm going to say a player's name first. And let's see if you can guess why. So I'm going to say Tom Rogic is the first player I think of when I think of this green away kit. And it is, in fact, this one. And of course, you'll probably know why. Because of that goal at Rugby Park. Absolutely ridiculous goal. Callum McGregor plays it into his feet. He turns on it, takes a wee touch to sort of steady himself and eye it up. And the swaz he puts on that with his left foot is ridiculous. And I think, if I remember right, that was a game that was really crucial at that point because we'd went through a bit of a shaky patch in Dyler's second season. I think Aberdeen had just beat us at Pittodrie. And even though you kind of felt like Aberdeen will only win the league, but they did close the gap to about 6 points or something at that stage. They had closed it a little bit, and you're like, nah, surely we're not going to blow this here. But that game against Kilmarnock, stoppage time, Liam, and Tom Rogic just decided, nah, we're no drawing this game today. And I just remember the relief of Ronnie Dyler running down the sideline celebrating because that, I was going to say kept him in a job, but he was gone by the end of the season. But had we lost that title to Aberdeen, and at that point it was looking a little bit dodgy. But again, every time I see that green one with the white pinstripes in 2016, it's Tom Rogic every day for me, Liam, that I see.
Aye. Rogic was a favourite of mine that season. That's when I thought, okay, we were starting to see that player arise as well. You know, like somebody would start playing really well, you know, and come on to the game. I remember listening to a podcast that somebody done where they were talking to an Australian scout about players in Australia, and this is anything to do with Celtic at the time, and they were talking about this player, Tom Rogic. It was really nice. I had an Australian mate that used to follow Celtic. He'd have stuff on in the house. And
was his name Ange Postecoglou? Yeah, apparently followed Celtic when he was younger. Had posters on the wall and everything.
No, I was at my friend's basement in Scarborough. He was a Liverpool supporter. That's what he would have been, right? I love that kit as well because it's the reverse of that iconic one we had before, that yellow one that was in the centenary season. The white one, V-neck, and just
green pinstripes. Yep.
Yeah, that, you know, when somehow you associate kits with people, that one's been in their family now for every single kid. It was my brother's, and my brother's kids all wore it, all to about 3 or 4, and then it gets passed into the next oldest, and they wear that going to bed every night, like my brother's kit. We've got a whole series of family. Every kid at some point used to go to sleep wearing that kit.
It's a good one. I bought it as well. And I like the Magnus being the sponsor as well. There's something about it, even though like the football wasn't particularly good in that mid-2010s, but Magnus as a sponsor, I think, just suited maybe the staff a bit.
Did we not,
man, I hate it, but
Phil, did we not have to play? I think we had to take that off. I think there was a French team or something that we played.
We had to wear the Celtic Foundation badge. That did look good, actually. Yeah, it did.
We had to take Magners off for the games. I hated that Magners logo. I thought it was shite. All the logos you got, but at least it wasn't a, you know, you work at marketing, right? And sometimes people are so stubborn. You know, there'll be people that we want to sponsor Celtic now, but we're going to put this big red, white, and blue logo across the front. And at some point, you have to give it, well, you know, what are you doing with a brand here? Like, you know, as we say to the board, read the room. I mean, they would just money and cash a check. If somebody came in, you know, like Texas Rangers or New York Rangers sponsored us, they'd take the money and have that across as, you know, a logo without even thinking, you know. But I don't know, it's like, I think Guinness looked good, like, you know, as a sponsor.
Oh, Guinness would be a good one, actually. Yeah, Guinness would be very fitting, I think. Yeah, it would be great with the heart.
Because you don't want a bunch of colours on there, and doing a beer logo is okay, but some of these things where you fucking look like NASCAR, you know, plus strip, you know, you here and that, and it's just like, oh, you know, you don't want to be sold to. That's why I love when we get iconic strips, and I love when they actually put some thought into alignment, how it's going to look. You know, you wear some of them with a suit jacket, like as you see some people do, and it completely looks weird. You know, you look like, I've seen guys wearing football strips under a suit jacket, and I'm like, I thought it was a priest, you know, because it's like a white collar, or, you know, blue tunic and that, and yeah, just weird. So yeah, I like the iconic ones, and the last ones you had there, I thought they were brilliant.
Well, you're saying iconic, obviously, and I've brought up a few earlier on where you've had like a homage, like a remake of it essentially years later from a different manufacturer. And of course, that green one with the white pinstripes, a couple of people have mentioned it now. Granted, it's a little bit before my time, but you'll have seen this kit. You'll have seen a particular goal scored in it. And I imagine the player that probably comes to mind will be one Champagne Charlie Nicholas, because it's this away kit, which is clearly... this is what's modelled, or this one when they did it in 2015 is modelled on this one here. And it's a goal against Ajax in 1982 by Charlie Nicholas in Amsterdam, where it's a phenomenal goal where he just beats about 2 or 3 players, bit of quick feet, and just bends it into or he chips up in the top corner, doesn't he, Michael? In fact, I've seen if he chips it, he bends into the top corner. But it's a great goal, and over the 2 legs, Celtic actually beat Ajax. There you go. Celtic doing well in Europe again. What a time to be alive. But yeah, in terms of, like, for me, I wasn't born yet, but I've seen the footage of it. But that, again, is a stunning, very simple away kit, you know, green, white pinstripes. You can't really go wrong with that one at all. But yeah, see, in terms of like before my time, in terms of lasting memories, but I've seen a few people in the chat, obviously, mentioned Alistair Jacks bringing up Ajax there. Patrick was saying his first top. There you go. So I've seen people early on mentioning the green away kit against Ajax. I had that one lined up in my pictures that I had. But let's go to a more, another one associated, I think, with Europe. Although saying that, the first player that comes to mind when I see this green away top is one madman himself, Tommy Gravison, who scored a hat-trick at St Mirren in it. Remember this absolutely belter of a kit from the 2006-2007 season? Obviously, Nakamura scored a free kick at Old Trafford wearing it. Vennegoor Hesselink also scored that night. I think we won the league down at Rugby Park wearing this kit as well. We got that kit, if I remember correctly, got a right good run out that season. It wasn't like one of these ones like the away kit we had this season, the really nice black one. We only wore it like 2 or 3 times. This one got used quite a lot, and it was used in Europe as well in many games. But yeah, I always see, Michael, the madman that is Tommy Gravison banging in a hat-trick in this one with his bald head cutting about and that, just running around like a madman, never listening to instructions, just doing his own thing. A total maverick, to say the least. Gordon Strachan couldn't even control him. But yeah, every time I see that kit, he's the first player that comes to mind for me, Michael. What about you?
Well, definitely. I feel like that's one of the good games that actually played for us.
Aye.
He was the thing is, though, he was a good qualities and get forward and stuff like that, but just absolutely no discipline. But it's got to be Nakamura for me.
Naka, yeah.
He scored 2 goals at Rugby, 2 free kick goals at Rugby Park.
Yeah,
almost identical places into the same goal.
Yeah, one is the league down there that season. Yep.
We won the league down there in the April or the May, I think. But he scored an almost identical goal in November as well against Rugby Park. It's the same goal, the same side, everything. More or less the same goal, basically.
I know what you're talking about, yep.
Obviously, they go Old Trafford as well. And but in terms of strip, I think that was modelled in. Somebody can correct me here. I might be wrong with you, but on the run to Lisbon, should we bought a strip similar to that?
We've definitely had one from the 70s with that design as well. Yeah, I was looking through historical kits, which is .co.uk. It's a website that's got them all listed, and there is one from the 70s that's like that by Umbro, and it's just simply black and green stripes. And it wasn't even It's exactly the same as that, essentially, apart from the modern day ones got sponsors on it and logos. But yeah, the one from the South was definitely was black and green stripes. But yeah, I remember that kit getting a lot of runouts that season in terms of like wearing it. Even playing Hibs, we would wear it, even though there was a lot of green on it. We would still. I remember Lee Naylor scored a great goal at Easter Road wearing it, where he ran up the park about 50, 60 yards and weaved inside. And I think it was one of his only goals he ever scored for us. Because I think we might have kept it for did we keep it for 2 seasons, that one? Or was it just 1 season? I can remember him scoring at Easter Road wearing that. I think it was the second season that we had it. We kept it as a third kit. Because the away kit that we had the season after it was obviously this green one.
That's right.
And again, I see Paul Hartley with a bullet header against Spartak Moscow in this one every time I look at that kit. The cross for Scott McDonald out wide, and yeah, it's Paul Hartley comes running, which was a bit odd for Paul Hartley because he didn't score that many goals when he came to us. He was an absolute wizard for Hearts, scored so many goals, but he played a more sort of deep line playmaker role for Celtic, like he'd sit in front of the back line. But yeah, out of nowhere, he's just broke into the box. His old instincts kicking in from his Hearts days, I think. But yeah, an absolutely great header. So every time I see that one, the dark green with the silver trim, I just see Paul Hartley wearing that one. Also, that is a very similar one to this one, which was obviously the one we wore in the 2004 Cup final, but then it was our away kit for the next season. But of course, this one is the last game that Henrik Larsson played, last competitive game. So again, this is a Larsson top, even though it was only one game he wore it. And the next season that followed was unfortunately Helicopter Sunday season. So it's a season we try not to remember. But yeah, the one lasting memory I've got of this one, Liam, is again, it's a Henrik Larsson one because of that cup final against Dunfermline in 2004. This was the only time he wore it before he left. And but yeah, it's another good one. A nice clean sort of design, dark green, bit of silver trim on it. It looks good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the things under the arms, right? I don't think you need all that stuff. Again, it's just nice and simple. Do you remember? Did Nike do as a bottle green one as well? It was like
that would be was this one?
Yes,
yeah. Zurawski, 4 goals at East End Park. That's my first memory when I look at that one.
Roy Keane.
Roy Keane cut against Clyde. Bloody Clyde.
Roy Keane played that strip, you know.
Oh no, the Clyde kit.
Aye. So,
in fact, no, Joe, what? Actually, I think about it. Neil Lennon scoring like one of his only goals for Celtic in that 8-1 game. And what was it? Honestly, fans were running on the park. Liam, remember when Lenny scored? He didn't even get much power on it. How he managed to score from it was incredible from outside the area. And it just rolled into the net. And I think I made it 8-1 at the time. But those fans literally running on the park, Liam, to mob Neil Lennon in that bottle green kit.
Yeah, I was playing football in an over 40s league in Whitby, Ontario, and their goalkeeper managed to get us a full set of those kits from a Celtic club in Glasgow. He was doing some work with them somehow and managed to put into the deal a full Celtic kit for the team he was playing on. And yeah, we end up playing in a Rangers tournament in Kitchener, Ontario, and we wait till we got to the final, and then we came out wearing those strips, take the price tags off them, brand new. They came out to the final. They didn't know we were a Celtic team until we got to the final. And then came out all wearing those kits. And when I see them, it just reminds me of some of the best times I've had, you know, when you go away for weekend football tournaments with your mates.
No, it's another one. Although the problem is there is a couple of bad memories for that kit. I said Clyde was one. We also wore that against Bratislava, that green one. With Slovan, it was Strachan's first game. So I had a bit of a rocky start, and then midway through the season, I had another bad moment. But overall, I say the 8-1 game against Dunfermline is always a lasting memory for me. Neil Lennon getting mobbed for scoring that horrendously scuffed goal. It just rolled along slowly into the corner, and fans will literally run around the park to celebrate with him. But in terms of green ones, I think this is one that's a bit of a forgotten era. But again, Michael, see if you don't see Mubarak Wakaso cutting across this with his left foot against Salzburg, then that is the lasting memory of that one. Every time I look at it, I just see Wakaso. His debut, the hope was so high for Mubarak Wakaso with that goal that he scored. And then after that, he just, like a lot of things in the Dyler era, just kind of came to nothing. But I quite like this top again. It's a bit like we're talking about the one for the Mowbray season earlier with the green tartan. They've also tried to incorporate a sort of tartan design into it. But again, I quite like this one. What about yourself, Michael? What do you think of this one?
The strip, I think it's quite nice. To be honest with you, I think it's, as you said, was it Red Bull Salzburg or something in it?
Salzburg in the Europa League,
that's right. It's a strip. No arguments. It's quite nice. I never bought it at the time or anything, but as a design, I like it.
Aye,
it's simple, but it's quite colourful as well. You know what I mean? I liked it at the time.
Aye. No, it's definitely.
I like it.
I say it's one of those they went for something a wee bit different, but I was always quite a fan of one. But I say Mubarak with Castle is always the one that I see. Scott Brown scored quite a goal that night. It was a bit of a deflection, but it was quite a credible 2-2 draw if I remember correctly against Salzburg, because they tanked us pretty comfortably in the second game at Celtic Park. They beat us like 3-1 or something, and we barely laid a glove on them. But yeah, the game out in Austria, we held on pretty well. But yeah, I always remember with Castle, debut goal, just cuts across it with his left foot, and an absolutely fantastic finish. And this is another green one as well from recent times. Again, I've just seen James Forrest against Rosenborg, because it's this one, New Balance one. The home kit that went with that season was a belter with the gold accents on it. But yeah, I see this one, and I just see James Forrest scoring the winner in a Champions League qualifier against Rosenborg, who we played a fair amount of times during that era. But that one always stands out to me, because it was a bit of a stodgy game, that one, and we weren't really getting anywhere. And if I remember, was it a 1-1 draw they got with us at Celtic Park, or it was 0-0 at Celtic Park? So we had to really go and win, because away goals were still a thing. But then Forrest popped up, as he did most times at that era of Brendan Rodgers. He was a man possessed playing for Brendan. But yeah, I can always remember with that one, that was the away kit always stood out for me with Forrest at that point. But then I've been saving this one to the end, and people have been talking about it, because I think we need to end on a real high, and we talk about green away kits. So I've been saving this, as I say, it's one of the first ones that get mentioned in the chat earlier on, and you probably know where I'm going with this. It did get a remake in a season that we don't speak of, so I'm not going to acknowledge the remake one. I'm not even going to bother even acknowledging it, because it doesn't deserve any chat. It deserved better on the park. It didn't get it. But of course, think back to the 80s. Think back to 1986. Think back to Albert Kidd Day. Celtic had to go to Love Street, and they had to win by 3 goals. And Hearts, who had not lost a game all season, had to go up to Dundee, and they just had to win, essentially. Celtic were powerless if Hearts had won, but of course they get beat. But Celtic had to do their bit at Love Street. And of course, they didn't just win by 3 goals. They won by 5 goals in the end. Of course, Dundee turned over Hearts, and they were wearing this rather nice mint green one, which is just known to this day as the Love Street kit, Love Street 86. Even though they wore it a few times, there is a few pictures of them playing teams like Sporting Lisbon and stuff like that at the time wearing it. But I think the lasting memory is that performance at Love Street. The first thing that I always see, there's a few things with this one. I always see the St Mirren goalkeeper standing there with the ball in his hands, and then the crowd right behind him just going mental whenever you see the image, the pictures, the TV pictures. I don't know who the St Mirren keeper is, but he's standing there ready to punt it out. And I think it's Jerry McNee or Jock Brown is on commentary, and obviously the fans behind over his shoulder are just going mental because they've just heard that Albert Kidd's just scored. I say it's either McNee or Brown. They're like, that must mean a goal for Dundee. And of course it was. And then they scored again not long after. But of course there are 2 goals in particular Liam scored in that game. There's a rather good team goal. Unfortunately, it's a bit soured for many fans because of who scored at the end. It was scored by one Maurice Johnson. He was there to put it in the net. But the build-up to the goal is still up there. If you put that in modern day football, see if a team at the Euros scored a goal like that that's going on right now. And obviously everyone's was lauding the play at the Euros, and I think it's been a great tournament so far. But you say, see if Spain do that tomorrow or over the weekend in their knockout game, that goal where Danny McGrain starts it, and he passes it all the way on, he's 1-2 passes. That would be celebrated. That would be going viral around the world, a goal like that. And this was in 1986 we scored that, Liam, but it's an astounding goal, mate. But I say it's just a shame who finished it in the end, but somebody had to put it in the net. But yeah, we didn't know at the time in 1986, Celtic fans didn't know what was to come with one Maurice Johnson, but it's still a pretty special goal in terms of the teamwork.
I hung out with him one night in Toronto.
Oh, that's right, because he played over there, so he did.
Yeah, and I tried really hard not to like him. I really, really did. It was actually all right. He had Tommy Burns' kids with him, And that's like, when I heard that, it was like, they come and visit him every year and stuff like that. And, and he's, so he told me the one that, Azagiri as well was offered to Toronto FC before he was offered to Celtic, and the price tag was only like 60,000 to the FC, and it was like, or 60, and then it was like 300 or 600 when it got to Glasgow, But
how different it could have been.
By the way, those kits, people like to wear them tight back then, huh?
Remember,
the one thing when I see pictures of that is like how tight were our kits and how small the shorts were at that point. So, everybody's all dead buff and all that, and, and short shorts and short shiny shorts, that sort of era.
Yeah.
But that's a classic kit. I mean, Superstore, whoever's doing marketing at Celtic Park, that is one. It is like so iconic. One, because of the connection to that game and that sort of team, but also as well, it just looks good. It's old. That's somebody's wearing that. They got, they've been around. The GR Smith logo, the Umbro, the placement, everything's just really good on that strip, and I love it.
Yeah, and it's as one that you can get in the Superstore with the remake. Obviously, it's not got the Umbro branding on it, but yeah, even the one I bought, it's even tight as well. They've definitely modelled it after the 80s ones. It's like, it's a bit snug. But I'm talking about the memories for that one, Michael, and obviously there is the goal scored by him, by that guy, Johnston. But the McStay goal, the outside of the foot shot, again, somebody scores that in modern day football, it's going viral. So you actually think it that day there was two fantastic goals, but the memories that are associated with that one, it's one of those iconic moments. If you look along Celtic's timeline, Celtic's history, you put flags at certain points along the way of a real landmark moment. Love Street 86. You just need to say Love Street 86, and instantly any Celtic fan will go, they'll know exactly, they'll see the image in their head, they'll see the mint green kit, whereas, as Liam says, the really short shorts. But yeah, phenomenal. As I say, the St. keeper just standing there and all the fans going mental behind him because Dundee had just scored. Monty actually says in the chat it was only a point that Hearts needed. So not only that, they didn't just need to win the game, they just had to get a point. But yeah, they end up losing 2-0. But yeah, the McStay goal as well is a fantastic one as well, Michael.
Beautiful, Phil. It's one of those ones. I think it's that moment at Love Street, obviously. I think no matter what age you are, whether you remember at the time or you're a lot younger, everybody growing up supporting Celtic and learning about history, everybody knows about Love Street 86.
Yeah.
Literally, everybody, that's one of the first things you learn about when you're younger. Famous moments, iconic moments in history, stuff like that is Love Street, especially the way it happened, the way it unfolded and stuff like that. And the kit is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
The only bad thing was it was beautiful. I still think it is.
Yeah.
The remake was actually beautiful as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I did get the remake, but I thought let's not even acknowledge that one because what happened that season. Oh, God.
No, it fell in the wrong season, definitely.
It did. It's a nice kit, though. It is nice.
Oh, definitely. But like I said, everybody grew up supporting Celtic, and that's one of the first things you learn about is Love Street 86. One of the most iconic moments in history. It's definitely recent history anyway. And it's, as you said, it comes in a beautiful kit. Paul McStay scoring outside of the, that's my hero, Paul McStay, when I was younger. So see him scoring a goal outside of the foot in the top corner. That doesn't beat it for me, really.
That's brilliant.
You wearing that kit as well. Beautiful. And there's actually, I don't know if anybody interested, obviously, but there's a clip on YouTube. It's a super scoreboard from that day. For the second half.
Okay.
For the second half for that day at Love Street. It cuts to Love Street for the second half. And you literally hear everything unfolding super scoreboard at the time.
Okay, right. It's up on YouTube, right? I'll look
It's
on
on YouTube.
Listen.
Type in Clyde 1 super scoreboard, Love Street 86. It comes up. It's the second half, the full footage. For the super scoreboard program at the time. And it's mine. I listened to it one night 3 years ago. I worked night shift. And even then, all these years later, the hairs in your arms, back the neck stand up.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful. So, in terms of a kit, it's outstanding.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. When we talk iconic away kits, when I put this together, that's one that's always up there. So I thought when I'm going, what order am I going to go in? What one should I try and end on? Because I say tonight it was very much just jumping around for you there, but I thought I need to end on a real big one that's associated with a huge moment. And as you say, Michael, and you're right, it's one of the first things you learn about Celtic history. I say you can talk to any fan, young fans as well, and they know about Love Street 86 because it's just one of those a simple term, and they just go, right, I can envision everything, all the clips that I've seen and whatnot. I say it was before my time as well, but again, I just get vivid, from all the stuff I've watched over the years. It's just incredible. It's again part of what Billy McNeil said about the romance or the fairy tale element of this club. It's just all part of it, really. And it's a phenomenal kit. But yeah, that is us taking a wee trip down memory lane. I didn't even manage to get all the kits that I had, so I still had more. But you know what? I recovered most of the big ones, and we got quite a lot done there. I thought it'd be about a 90-minute show, and it was. I did say on Tuesday night when I said I was going to do this, I will do one for home kits somewhere down the line. But I'll put that one together at some stage for the home kits. But that should be an interesting one as well, because green and white hoops. I said that to David the other night when he sort of did a wee sarcastic, like, I like the one with the green and white hoops. But as I pointed out to him, a lot of people lose their absolute minds with certain designs of the green and white hoops, and they can't handle it if it's the hoops are broken or if there's a wee fancy design through it or whatnot. So it'd be interesting to look back at some of the quirky designs that they've tried as well with the hoops, and sometimes when they've got it right, when simple is the answer, and other times where they have maybe gone a wee bit out there, but it's still managed to hit pretty well. But yeah, we'll do that at some point down the line and look at all the memories that came back. And thanks to everyone as well that's throwing in their memories tonight as we've been going along, as we've been throwing up shots. They've obviously been saying different names and different matches and whatnot. So yeah, we appreciate it massively for getting involved tonight, for spending your Friday night with us. Well, there was no football on as well because the Euros is on a wee 2-day break. But yes, so I don't know if there'll be a Blair or anything over the weekend. It's Connor that runs the Blair now, so that'll be up to him if he does it. I know the Tuesday ticket will probably be along next week, but yeah, hopefully by that point, Celtic have got some actual signings in the door. We've got something concrete to talk about, because there's only so many times you can talk about the same rumours again and again and again. So hopefully they'll give us something to actually talk about. But yeah, guys, before we go, enjoyed yourselves tonight. This wee trip all over the place, down all sorts of different memory lanes.
Aye, Bustalgia, that's what it's all about. It's just jumping in that big Celtic TARDIS type bus and going back, and not just players and games and all that, but just memories of people and things you associate with supporting Celtic, and take it up as much a part of your life as it shouldn't, but it,
Oh, it does, I guess.
Oh, thanks, Mick. It's been brilliant.
Brilliant, Liam. Thanks again, mate. Outstanding.
Superb, guys, superb. So yeah, guys, we're out of here. Enjoy the rest of the night if you get up to anything else, and enjoy your weekends, and stay subscribed to the bus, and you'll see you next time we're on the road. And yeah, we will catch you all next time. Thanks, folks.